Welcome back, my fairies. I am Matsurific, and we are back with episode 3 of Pokemon Horizons. Now, if you're new to this channel, the way that these reviews work is that I will talk about what we... Normally, I'll talk about what we already know about the episode first, and then come back and watch it afterwards. But usually that was for the other series that we review here, Miraculous Ladybug. Instead, I think we're going to be actually changing things up for this series. Instead of talking about what we already know about the episode, we're going to actually just do a quick recap of what happened in the previous episode, since this series does seem to be episodic. And also, to avoid copyright, I will be showing some clips of me shiny hunting over on the side here. So be sure to leave a comment with suggestions on what we should nickname these shinies. So yeah, a quick recap of the past 2 episodes, because that was a 2-parter and it's definitely leading into this one. So Liko just transferred in to the school in Kanto, and she had a hard time bonding with her Sprigatito starter at first, but then they eventually did get to form a bond together after a few months. And then all of a sudden she gets thrust into this adventure where people are after this pendant that she got from her grandmother. And she's got 2 different groups that are looking for her pendant, one of which being the notorious explorers, who have actually now kidnapped Sprigatito, and that's where we left off with the last episode. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this next episode. So much has happened already, and the fact that this is becoming a more serialized series where one episode leads into another and we've got an overarching plot just fills me with so much happiness. I'm so glad that they're changing things up, because it really makes it feel like it's worthwhile to have a different protagonist other than Ash. Like, yes, they could have done this with Ash too, but the Ash formula was kind of getting old. We've been going through the same formula with Ash for about 25, 26 years, and yeah, I'm really excited to see the formula change up with brand new characters. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna go watch the episode, and I will be right back. Alright, so I just got done watching the episode, and this did seem a little bit smaller than before, but yeah, I still enjoyed it. And not every episode has to be some epic battle and everything. There obviously was a battle, but we'll get to that in a bit. So, I keep forgetting, like, what their full name is, so I'm just gonna call them, Team V. Or Rising V. So yeah, I'm just gonna call them Rising V from now on. Just because it's gonna be easier to remember, because it's, like, hard to remember the name that they give it, because it's, like, kind of long name. Like, the word itself is, like, kind of long. But yeah, so basically, the episode starts with Liko. She's, waking up after a really long night. She's upset over losing Sprigatito and everything. And she wakes up, and we get to meet the people on the ship again. See a little bit more about their personalities. I still haven't learned everybody's names yet, but obviously, Liko and Freed are the 2 main ones. So Freed manages to track down the explorers to a specific town. I don't think they even gave the town a name, but they managed to track them down to this town, and they start splitting up to search for Sprigatito. And the chef character, again, I can't remember their names. I will get them eventually. But the chef uses his rock ruff to track them down via Sprigatito's scent, so that they can search the city and look for Sprigatito. Meanwhile, one of the other members sends Liko out on an errand to the Pokemon Center. And I wanted to mention the Pokemon Center errand for 2 reasons. One, I kind of thought they were maybe trying to be like baiting out the explorers using Liko as like, oh hey, look, here's Liko all on her own. Maybe if they're watching us, then hey, maybe they'll come out and do that. But nothing like that actually happened, and it was never confirmed if that was their plan or not. But the other major thing that happens at the Pokemon Center is that we actually get to see Nurse Joy and Chansey, which means that this does take place during the same, or not during, in the same universe as Ash. So this is the same universe where, you know, Ash, Misty, Brock, all those other characters that we've known and loved are in this universe. So that is confirmed by the presence of Nurse Joy, and she's even wearing the Kanto uniform, so they're still in Kanto. So that's another good sign there. Plus she's got Chansey with her, so another sign that, you know, they're still in Kanto. But while Liko is at the Pokemon Center, she meets another trainer with her Vulpix. And Vulpix wound up getting hurt during a battle, and Liko, overhearing what the trainer was talking about, you know, how it was their first battle and everything, and the trainer felt kind of bad letting her Vulpix get hurt because, you know, she's its trainer. That got Liko thinking, oh yeah, I'm a trainer now. She never even thought about that over the past couple months that she spent with Sprigatito, but yeah, she is a trainer now. She's got a Pokemon, and that she very much cares for. Also, they do this little segment every once in a while that, like, explains stuff in the world, and when they brought back I don't remember what the segment is actually called. I'm just gonna call it the Nidoran segment, because the person looks like they're dressed in a Nidoran suit. But they do the segment that sort of breaks down, you know, all the different, you know, how Pokemon centers work and everything, and they even showcase the different Pokemon that Nurse Joy uses, which was really cool. So we get a nice lineup of all of the different Pokemon that we've seen at Pokemon centers throughout the series. So we get Chansey, we get Wigglytuff, we get Blissey, Audino, Comfey, and Didi. And it's like, yes, I love that. I love how they're, like, showing off all of the different nurse assistants. Also, Wigglytuff was especially great to see because Wigglytuff was Nurse Joy's assistant in the Orange Islands, which was especially fun to see as someone who grew up on the series and actually watched the Orange Islands and didn't hate Tracy as much as the rest of the fandom seems to. But anyway, I just really wanted to point that out. That was really fun. Then we get to a scene with the explorers, and one of the female members is actually bonding with Sprigatito, because you know us ladies, we love our kitties. So she's bought Sprigatito all these different toys, and she's feeding Sprigatito, and she's like, oh my gosh, I love this cute kitty Pokemon. But the leader of the explorers comes along and doesn't even, she was worried that he's gonna be mad that she's, playing with Sprigatito, but he, doesn't seem to care. And she also mentions that Sprigatito is supposed to be their hostage, which he says he wasn't planning on using her as a hostage. He just wants the Liko and her pendant, and that's it. And he made it seem like he had no intention of bargaining with Sprigatito and holding it hostage. He just wanted Liko and the pendant, which has me questioning whether or not these guys are actually bad. Obviously, there are still, they're still morally gray because, they were still willing to kidnap Liko and take her against her will, and if they were good guys, then they would just be like, no, yeah, you can have Sprigatito back, that's not how we want to do things. So there's still some dishonor among these guys, but we'll have to see whether or not they're actually bad or not. Though so far I'm not seeing any signs that they're going to be as iconic as Jesse and James. I know that it's not totally fair to compare this to the original series, but obviously people are going to compare this because it's a new Pokemon anime, and it clearly takes place in the same universe as Ash's journey. So, yeah. It'll take some time to get used to these guys and how they operate, But it is nice to at least get some personality for one of them. The guy is still like, he's kind of bland. I mean, that might just be his character, but he still gives kind of like, like really, he's really bland so far. So hopefully he gets more characterization later on. But anyways, Liko finishes her errand, and the girl's Vulpix winds up recovering. And the Explorer's gal winds up going shopping for more stuff for Sprigatito. And that's when Rockruff finds her and can smell Sprigatito. Liko overhears Rockruff barking, and so do the rest of the Rising Bees. So they all come and investigate and see that it's her. And they chase her to the warehouse where the explorers are hiding. And one thing that I noticed that we didn't really seem to get any payoff for was when she contacted the guy. He contacted the ride-on trainer, who put something up on the docks, like from below, but. And at first I was thinking, are they doing something to like sabotage the ship? Because they found the Rising Bees ship, so it's like they know they're there. So is he doing something to sabotage them there? It's hard to say, because it kind of looked like he was planting something there, some electronic device, but it doesn't come back, so it seemed kind of random. It's like Chekhov's gun didn't go off, but maybe it'll go off in another episode. We'll see. So they managed to follow Rockruff to the warehouse where the explorers are hiding, and Freed, manages to catch up to Liko, because Liko is just running off, being like, "No, I gotta find Sprigatito. I gotta save my partner. I'm a Pokemon trainer." And he's like, "It's dangerous, but if you really insist on doing this, then we'll come up with this plan." And the plan turns out to be that Freed is going to fight the Explorers guy. They have a battle between Ceruledge and Captain Pikachu, while Liko sneaks off to go and try and find Sprigatito. And she does manage to find Sprigatito, and they sneak off, but they get into a battle with the girl, who sends out her Skarmory and is like, Your Sprigatito is a grass type, my Skarmory is a flying steel type, you don't stand a chance. And they're very clever. Liko knows she and Sprigatito don't stand a chance against this lady. They're novice trainers, and they're at a huge type disadvantage. So instead of battling, they use leafage to create a cloud of leaves that allows them to escape. So instead of fighting, they just like, "Yep, we're running." Which catches the girl off guard. It's like, yeah, that was pretty clever of them. And that was also part of Freed's plan, because when he sees the leafage, he's like, okay, that means Sprigatito is safe now, so we can go ahead and escape on Charizard. And they leave. So they get back on the ship, and they head off again. And Freed finally lets us know more about who they are. They're basically treasure hunters, and also they're explorers themselves. Like, they're not part of the group called explorers, but they are, by definition, they are explorers. So, like, they're trying to unravel the mysteries of Pokemon in the world. And also, it turns out that they were hired by Liko's mom to protect her. Which means that Liko's mom knew that the explorers were going to come after her looking for her pendant. Which is, that's raising some questions as to, what exactly is going on there. I'm sure we'll find out when we actually meet Liko's mom. But, Liko tells them that, she finally has decided that she's going to trust them, and everybody lays into Freed for once again keeping Liko in the dark and not telling her what the heck is going on. It's like, yeah, of course she's gonna think we're shady. It's like, yeah, that was definitely a concern there. But it turns out that they were hired to protect her by her mother, so they're bodyguards. And she's that she's going to stay with them, so they're heading back to her hometown so that they can talk to her mom and get paid for being her bodyguards. Meanwhile, Liko is going to continue traveling with the Rising Bees so that she can explore the world and also stay safe as well, because, you know, again, these guys are hired to be her bodyguards. And she's fully accepted the fact that she's going on an adventure now. She even contacts her friend Anne from school and lets her know what's going on, and that even when school starts back up, she'll take classes remotely. So we get to go on an adventure now, which is cool. It's been so long since we've actually gotten to go on a real Pokemon adventure, because the past 2 arcs with Ash have been him mostly staying in one place and then every once in a while traveling around a little bit for like an episode or 2 and then going right back to where he was. It's how it was for Journeys, and it's how it was for Sun and Moon. So it's really great being able to go on an actual Pokemon adventure again with the anime. It's really gonna be so much fun. Of course, there's still something to be said about if this is going to be the end of this actual story arc, and if we're maybe gonna get random episodes coming up soon, or if it's gonna be more like, you know, we'll get a few filler episodes here and there, but still very much plot-centered. Because if it does turn out to be very much plot-centered, we could be looking at a very short story. Because if they get through the plot too quickly, then we might end up having a situation where we get through the story in just one season, and then next year it's like, well, where do we go from here? Do we continue following Liko and Roy? Is she gonna discover her dream along this adventure, and then are we going to follow her with pursuing her dream after that? Time will only tell. But it doesn't look like we're completely done with this introductory arc yet, because at the end of the episode we finally get to meet Roy. But it's already like really close to the end of the episode. So we meet Roy, and he's running out of his house, says goodbye to someone he calls Gramps. We don't know if that's his actual grandpa or not. And he's just wandering around the beach looking for driftwood or treasure that drifted in from a recent storm that they had. So that could actually be the same store that they flew into the other day, that the Rising Bees flew into when they were trying to save Liko from the explorers. So we'll see where that leads. It did look like Roy had found a flag from the Rising Bees ship. So we'll see. They did do a preview saying that the ship is going to need to go in for repairs. So they basically have to land on this island where Roy lives, and that's where they're going to meet him, obviously. So it's unsure yet if the repairs that they're going to be doing have anything to do with what I mentioned before, that device that was used at the docks. Mainly because that was used underneath of the docks. It didn't show them putting it on the ship. It showed them putting it on the docks themselves. So we'll see where that's going to go if it does come back, and why exactly they end up landing on this island here where we finally meet Roy, and that's going to be really exciting. And it looks like he also is going to have a Fuecoco. So I don't know, maybe like they're clearly still in Kanto, unless of course they've like skipped a couple of weeks and are, you know, or I guess more like a couple of days, but like if they skipped a couple of days and are now close to Paldea, then that would explain why Roy has a Fuecoco. But I'm pretty sure I remember them saying that Roy was from Kanto, so maybe he's just another student from Liko's school, and that could be where he got Fuecoco. We'll see. I'm sure they'll tell us in the next episode where Roy got Fuecoco. But that does seem to be his partner, which makes a lot of sense. This is the season of the anime that focuses on Paldea. So I'll go ahead and end this video here for now. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos from me. We do all sorts of fun stuff on this channel, including playing video games, we do art, and also sometimes talk about cartoons and anime. So if you enjoy this stuff, then be sure to ring that bell icon and never miss a video. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I hope you all have a very magical day.